You guys see the title, you know why you're here. This next story is a true story. It should be used as an example of what are the possibilities when dating, visiting, or traveling around the world. Watch or listen to this while you're driving, cleaning, on the train, at the gym, or just getting things done. Grab yourself a drink or a snack. This is a story you don't want to miss. Stay until the end. This one is a banger. Here it goes. I'm Adam, 33 years old, from Yemen. I've been in Thailand for 5 years now. Blessed to be married to Assia, my 28-year-old Muslim Thai wife from southern Thailand. I want to talk about a question I hear a lot. Are Thai people racist? Well, for a bit of context, my wife Assia has tan skin and wavy hair, and her look doesn't quite match what people here see as the ideal Thai look. I'll be sharing my wife's Assia's experiences growing up and what I've seen myself as an Arab living here. It's about her journey, my observations, and how we navigate life together here living in Thailand. Let's start with Assia's story, because her life shows so much about how people judge appearances here. She grew up in a close-knit Muslim community in the south. She speaks Thai, Malayu, English, and Arabic, my mother tongue, and is well educated. But even there, her darker skin and wavy hair made her stand out. She's shared how her family would compare her to lighter-skinned cousins, not meaning harm, but it hurt. They tease Assia, you've been in the sun too long, or joke she was adopted since she didn't look like her fairer siblings. They thought it was lighthearted, but for her, it felt like she wasn't quite enough. You won't believe how fast I edited my latest video with Gling AI. It automatically sliced out silences, filler words, and shaky takes, turning hours of tedious editing into minutes. Seriously, it saved me hours of work, leaving me time to focus on creating. Plus, it's got a free version to test it out. Ready to edit smarter? Click the link below to get started with Gling AI now. School wasn't much kinder. Assia told me kids would pick on her skin tone and hair, calling her Jungle Girl after characters in old Thai movies. Wild types, not the heroes. One time in primary school, some girls laughed, saying her wavy hair looked like it belonged in the forest. It wasn't violent, but it left a mark. She'd come home asking her mother why she didn't look like the girls on TV, with their straight hair and pale skin. Her mother, may Allah bless her, would say she was beautiful as she was, but the world just kept pushing a different idea. Lighter skin was the goal. The media made it tougher. I grew up seeing shows and ads where the stars were always fair-skinned, with sleek hair. Even the South, where darker skin's a bit more common, billboards showed one kind of beauty. She loved a drama as a teen, but the heroine was praised for porcelain skin, while darker characters were servants or jokes. It made her feel like her beauty wasn't seen. Then there was those skin whitening creams everywhere, in shops, ads, even at school. In her teens, she felt drawn to them, thinking they might stop the teasing or make her feel valued. She'd look in the mirror, wondering if lighter skin would make life easier. But her mother's words, rooted in faith, held her strong. She taught Assia that her natural skin was a gift from God, a mark of her southern heritage. Assia chose to honor that, embracing who she is. It was a hard choice, with those creams so common here, but her strength inspired me. What gets me is how normal these comments were. Assia says people would just say, "You're so dark," or "Why not straighten your hair?" Like it's no big deal. She thought that's how everyone talked growing up. In Yemen, we're careful with words, especially about someone's looks. Here, it's like commenting on the weather, not meant to hurt, but it can sting. Assia says it's ignorance, not cruelty. People were just passing on what they learned from their families or TV, media, society. Like a neighbor once said, Assia's lovely for a dark girl, as if her skin was something to overcome. Not mean, just unaware. She brushes it off, but as a kid, it wasn't easy. She's seen this ignorance online too. There was a sad case where a girl was assaulted and instead of support, people online mocked her for being dark and not pretty. They'd say things like, she should be glad anyone noticed her. She said it hit hard, reminding her how looks can overshadow everything. She used to think this was just how the world worked, but the internet showed her it's not everywhere. Things are changing though. Assia has noticed the younger generations of Thais, with all their online exposure, aren't as quick to judge. Her cousins love Blackpink and K-pop and influencers who show different kinds of beauty. They're not teasing anyone for dark skin or wavy hair. The internet's bringing new personalities, perspectives, which is great. But in small towns or with older Thai people, you still hear those old comments sometimes. As for me, Thailand's been welcoming, but I get stares, especially outside Bangkok or tourist spots. Assia says it's curiosity, not judgment. In the south, where we spend time, my beard and darker skin catches eyes. People aren't necessarily hating, they're just wondering who we are. I've seen it in Yemen, folks staring at someone new. Assia's trick is to smile or say Sawasdee, okay? Hello in Thai. It works wonders. Like at the market, some kids were watching me buy fruit. I felt awkward, but I smiled and said hi. And their mom gave me free mangoes. Turned a weird moment into a good one. The tougher part is when folks think I'm South Asian, like Indian. I respect all people, but the assumptions bug me. In some parts of Thailand, like Phuket, people automatically recognize me as being Arab since they have constant contact with Arabs from the Gulf countries, like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and so on. In regards to Indians in Thailand, Assia has heard stories from friends in tourism that feed into this, which I'll talk about next. But in other parts of Thailand, when they assume me to be Indian, it's like I walk into a shop and sometimes feel them sizing me up like they're expecting something. It's made me think about how looks shape how people treat you here. It doesn't get to the point of violence or being kicked out of places. No one's told me to leave a shop or hotel because they thought I was Indian, but there's this subtle feeling before speaking or showing my passport to the hotel front desk. Assia has heard about Indian tourists trying to cut tour prices way down or acting like they deserve special treatment for free. She's clear it's not all Indians, just some stories that get loud in tourism. And these stories end up coloring how folks see anyone who looks brown or has tan skin can be mistaken for being South Asian. Like I have been multiple times before. I felt it, a waiter's pause, a shopkeeper's guarded tone like they were waiting for me to haggle or ask for extras. It's annoying, especially since I'm Yemeni, not Indian. But I get why it happens. I'm brown and for many Thai people, that equates to being Indian. Assia says in tourist areas, people make quick judgments to keep things moving. It's not about hating anyone, it's just a shortcut from past experiences. But it's still ignorance, and it can make you feel like you're starting off on the wrong foot. Assia's had it too, with people assuming she's less educated because of her skin. We've talked about how these little moments, even if they're not aggressive, can make you feel out of place. I want to talk about the staring thing that most people often refer to. It's a big one, especially in rural spots where foreigners aren't common. Assia and I get a lot of looks. Assia's always said it's not racism, just curiosity. Down south, where we hang out sometimes, people aren't used to too many foreigners. They'll check out my clothes, might pay attention to my accent, or just wonder why I'm there. One time when Assia and I were at this temple festival, some older ladies were staring at me, whispering. I was a bit thrown, but Assia told me to smile. Smiling is her remedy for any awkward situation. And once I did, they waved me over, shared some somtam, and asked about Yemen. Went from weird to warm real quick. Curiosity, not judgment. I've seen this before. In Yemen, people would stare at tourists, curious about their style or language. Assia got it too, like when she and I went to Saudi Arabia, and her Thai accent and clothes turned heads. They were more familiar with hearing and seeing Filipinos than Thais, especially Thai Muslims. She didn't feel attacked, just different. It's the same here, especially outside touristy spots. They're not hating, they're just not used to you. Assia's big on smiling or saying hello, and I've picked up on that. It's like magic, it really works. One time, a market vendor was eyeing me while I was grabbing some fruit. I said hi, and we ended up swapping stories over tea for an hour. Turns a stare into a connection, you know? As I mentioned earlier, Thais make quick assumptions based on looks or where they think you're from. With my wife's darker skin, Assia had people assume she's from some backwoods village, even though she's got a degree and has traveled plenty. Someone once asked her if she was really Thai because of her, skin tone and her appearance. She just laughed, but it can be frustrating at times. As for South Asians, it seems they've earned a pretty bad reputation all over Thailand. One of Assia's friends works at a fancy spa in Bangkok, but said a few Indian guys asked for extra stuff, hinting at something inappropriate. Not all of them, but enough for her to start assuming Indian men might be trouble. Assia's quick to say that that's way too broad, but these moments linger. I feel it when people think I'm Indian. Like I was at a market and this vendor was super pushy with prices like he was sure I'd haggle him down to nothing. When I said I'm Yemeni, he eased up like, oh, I thought you were Indian. They always want half off. It's a small thing, but you notice it. To circle back on the question, are Thai people racist? From Assia's life and what I've been through, I'd say no. Not like racism in some other places. Assia's dealt with teasing about her skin like I mentioned earlier, the pull to use whitening creams or skin bleaching, and assumptions about her roots, but it's not about hate. It's cultural blind spots. My experience, stairs being pegged as Indian, it's curiosity or not knowing better, not malice. Unlike places where I've heard ugly slurs thrown at friends, Thailand doesn't have that kind of venom. No matter your color, you're not treated like an outcast. People might stare or assume stuff, but they don't come at it with anger. More just curiosity. Man, listening to Adam's story about him and Assia navigating through biases in Thailand really hit home with me. It's wild how much weight society can put on looks. Assia dealing with all that teasing and pressure to lighten her skin, and Adam getting pegged as someone and something that he's not. Like Adam mentioned, it's not the in-your-face hate you see in some places, but those little moments, like the shopkeeper's glare or a kid's jab, they add up. It reminds me of when I was traveling in a new city, in a new country, people kept assuming I was from somewhere else based on how I looked. And since Adam and I probably look alike, we've experienced something similar. And just like his experience, when I opened my mouth and spoke or showed them my passport, everything changed. Their whole demeanor, their personality, the whole tone of the way they spoke, it all changed. It wasn't mean, but it made me feel like I had to prove who I was. I remember one of my native friends from Ecuador, from South America, she also faced a bit of, racism, if you want to call it that, when she was traveling in Southeast Asia, not Thailand, but another country. And people assumed that she was Indian, even though to my eyes, she didn't look so. Adam's right. Those smiles and small gestures can flip things around, make a connection instead of a wall. Makes you think how much of this stuff is just people not knowing better, and how a bit of openness can go such a long way. One book that changed my mind, and I'd highly recommend to anyone, is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And read the second chapter, where it says, don't take anything personally. That will change your life. Make sure to check out my previous video right over here. And send over a story of your own that you'd like to be featured in the next video. Subscribe, share, like, and comment. My name's Roberto, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.